Hi, welcome to KilKare Speedway. I'm Nate Pennington. As you can see right now, we're in the air with my wife Kim and the company that gives free rides out here at KilKare, and I must apologize, I don't remember the company's name. And next week we'll get it right, get them a title on here, and special thanks and the whole bit. But beautiful shots from the KilKare aerial view from the helicopter of KilKare Speedway. And you can see the rather altered D shape of KilKare Speedway. Tonight, 4th of July Championships, NASCAR Winston Racing Series Pro Stocks, Pure Stocks, Mini Stocks, E-Mods, Figure 8s, and Late Models. First heat race pulling up on the track. It's the KilKare Modifieds heat race number 1. It looks like Ralph Herod and Jim Johnson, row number 1. 32, Steve Foster. 11, Dick Dunleavy Jr. 25, Gary Smith. And the 88 of Dan Williams.
Hey, we're going racing. We're on the track behind the pace truck. We're ready to rock and roll.
And white flag already being shown to the field. We should get green flag next time by the stripe. Herod, your leader. Steve Foster running second. Jim Johnson third. And now Foster looks to the inside. Ralph Herod goes through turns 1 and 2. They're side by side down the backstretch. Now Foster with a slight advantage. Steve Foster, your leader. Ralph Herod back to second. Johnson a little sideways in the zero machine coming out of turn 4. Your top 3 cars, Steve Foster, Ralph Herod, and Dick Dunleavy Jr. White flag, 1 lap to go for Steve Foster, your leader. Your winner, car number 32, Steve Foster. Second will go to the Ralph Herod machine. Third to Dick Dunleavy Jr. Jim Johnson comes home 4th, and 5th, Gary Smith. Heat race number 2 for the Modifieds pulling out on the track now. It will be Don Fleming Jr., Ed Lorenz, Jerry Stapleton, Jim Lewis Jr., Mike Bereski, and Terry Flora in this one. They're heating up. We'll be back with the race in just a moment. Stapleton a little sideways on the start. Side by side for the lead down the backstretch. Into lap number 1, and it's still Ed Lorenz and Don Fleming Jr. side by side for the lead. Third place belongs to the Jim Lewis Jr. machine, and then Jerry Stapleton running in 4th. Lawrence, your leader. Jerry Stapleton now running second in the 3 car. 25 McGarry Smith third. White flag, 1 lap to go for your leader, car number 3 now. Jerry Stapleton. Eddie Flora now runs second. Third belongs to Ed Lawrence. And your winner, car number 3, Jerry Stapleton. Coming home second is the Terry Flora machine, car number 82. Third will go to Ed Lawrence. Fourth, Don Fleming Jr. And rounding out your top 5, Jim Lewis Jr. Once again, your winner, car number 3, Jerry Stapleton. Your stock heat race number 1 coming out on the track. On the pole is the number 1 of Jeremy Everding. Outside him, 29, Bob Huffman. 74, Clark Wolf. 93, Wayne Sills. 3, Brian Roush. 78, Ken Burnett. And the 79 of Chuck Sutton.
Next lap, the distance, Gear Stock, late model today. After shooting. With Gear Stock.
Brian Roush with his... Oh, and he gathered... Oh! Brian Roush tried to gather it back in. He started spinning out of turn 4. Finally did spin going into turn 1. He gets it going, though. We have no caution. We stay green. Jeremy Everding, your leader. Battle for second between the 29 of Bob Huffman and the 93 of Wayne Seals. White flag, 1 lap to go for your leader, car number 1, Jeremy Everding. And here he comes out of turn number 4. Your winner will be car number 1, Jeremy Everding. And home second will be the 93 of Wayne Seals. Third will go to Bob Huffman. Fourth to Clark Wolf. Fifth to Chuck Sutton. Once again, your winner, car number 1, Jeremy Everding. Race number 2 is going to line up this way. It'll be Tim Dilge and Danny Suffren. Frank Conover, Larry Gard, Gary Seitz, Sean Miller. And we should get a green flag next time by the stripe. Dilge sideways out of turn 4, but he maintains the lead of lap number 1. 28 of Danny Suffren right on his back bumper in second. 4th of July weekend. Suffren now your leader, the 52 of Tim Dilge running second. Third of Craig Conover in the 6th car running third, excuse me. White flag comes out, 1 lap to go for your leader, car number 28, Danny Suffren. Coming down the backstretch at Mr. Yo. Danny Suffren, your leader, or winner. Coming home second is the 53 of Tim Dilge. Then it's the 6th of Craig Conover. 4th is Gary Seitz in the 98. And 5th, the 77 of Larry Gard. Once again, your winner, car number 28, Danny Suffren. Late model heat race number 1. 29, Tony Bruckey. 17, Sam Heckman. 72 is Jerry Stapleton. 28, Mark Stubb. See the 01 of Gene Grace out back. The other 2 I missed are the 3 I missed are Will Spurgeon, Brian Brandenberry. I guess it was just 2. They're going to heat them up, and we're going to wait here. In a moment, the green flag. And as we see, the sun is starting to set, causing amazing glare. How these guys see through turns 3 and 4 in the late afternoon, I don't know. We are racing green flag flies. Car number 29, Tony Brunke, your leader. Jerry Stapleton running second. Third belongs to Sam Heckman. 43, Will Spurgeon holding on to that 4th position right now. Brunke still your leader. Jerry Stapleton right on his back bumper. He runs second. Third belongs to Sam Heckman. White flag, 1 lap to go for your leader, car number 29, Tony Brunke. Your winner, car number 29, Tony Brunke. Coming home second will be Jerry Stapleton in the 72. Third will go to Sam Heckman. 4th to Gene Grace, and rounding out your top 5 will be Will Spurgeon. Once again, your winner, car number 29, Tony Brunke. Heat race number 2 for the late models. Russ Bob on the pole. 75 is Gary Estes. 7 is John Farrell. 33 Carl Stapleton. 1 Mike Carroll. 34 Dave Ellis. 23 Ron Simpson. And the 16 of Rob Jacks. White flag already being shown to the field. We should get a green flag this time by the stripe. second. Third, a battle between the Russ Bob and Mike Carroll machine. Is your leader. White flag, 1 lap to go for Gary Estes, car number 75. And your winner will be car number 75, Gary Estes. Carl Stapleton comes home second, then Mike Carroll, Russ Bob, and Dave Ellis rounding out your top 5. And once again, your winner, car number 75, Gary Estes. Stock heat race pulling up on the track. And it's the 10 car of Brian Brewer. Then outside of him, Rick Bates. 60 is Jerry Moore. 17 is Frank Harvey. 19, Hickman, 6 Ron Wells, and the 87 of Tim Stratman. Already being shown the white flag. We should get a green flag next time by the stripe.
60 Jerry Moore. 17 Frank Harvey.
Bates raced in no time, pulls out to that lead over Frank Harvey, the 17 machine. Third, a battle between Brian Brewer and the 60 of Jerry Moore. Still your leader, the 17 of Frank Harvey closing. Flag, 1 lap to go for your leader, car number 24, Rick Bates. Frank Harvey challenging in the 17 machine, takes a look inside down the backstretch. Rick Bates slams the door going into turn 3. Your winner will be car number 24, Rick Bates. Frank Harvey comes home second, then it's Ron Wells third. Fourth will go to Jerry Moore in the 60 pickup truck, and rounding out your top 5, car number 19, Jeff Whitman. Once again, your winner, car number 24, Rick Bates. Race number 1 for the Pro Stocks, Tyrone Tarr, Jerry John Sr. on the front row. Inside row number 2 is the 98 of Krista. Outside of him, I believe that's the 97 of Jeff Wilson in row 2. Then it's Johnny Leach Jr. inside row 3. Outside of him, as the field comes by, that's the 52 of Justin Miller, or Mike Miller, excuse me. Then looks like Tom Dilge, David Jakowski, I said David Jakowski. Johnny Leach Jr. is out there. And they're going to get the white flag. We should get green flag next time by the stripe. number 1, Tyrone Tarr in the 05 car. Running second is Chris Stump in the 98. Battle for third between Jerry Johns Sr. and 97 of Jeff Wilson. Got one spinning off the track down the backstretch. That's the 22 of David Jakowski. We stay green. Still your leader. Chris takes a look inside, coming out of turn 4. 4-car battle for the lead. Tyrone Tarr, Chris Stubb, Jeff Wilson, and Jerry Johns Sr. White flag, 1 lap to go for Tyrone Tarr, your leader. They're side by side coming out of turn 4. Tarr sideways, and he gets together with the Wilson machine, and both cars into the wall and into the barrels in turn 1. And that will be the end of this race, and they'll finish this way. It'll be Chris Stump, your winner. Tyrone Tarr coming home second. Jeff Wilson will get third. Fourth will go to Jerry Johns Sr. And rounding out your top 5, Johnny Leach Jr. Heat race number 2 for the pro stocks pulling up on the track. Brian Wilson, 81. 11 is Ryan Dunleavy. 78, that is Virgil Powell. Outside him, the 32, Jerry Johns Jr. 48, Johnny Leach Sr. 12, John Maloney. 58, Gary Norton. And 74, L.G. Jones. Brian Wilson, he's your leader. Battle for second between Ryan Dunleavy. Now Virgil Powell takes over that second spot. Dunleavy back to third. Fourth belongs to Jerry Johns Jr. We got one spinning over in turn 3. He straightens it back up, keeps on going. I believe that's the 4 of John Matthews. Still the 81 of Brian Wilson. Virgil Powell slips a little wide in turn 1, going to that high side, looking through the turns 1 and 2 area on the high side. Down the back stretch, they're side by side. And once again down the front straightaway. Flag, 1 lap to go for your leaders, Virgil Powell and Brian Wilson, as they're side by side. Powell now with slight advantage down the back stretch. And coming out of turn number 4, your winner will be car number 78, Virgil Powell. Coming home second is Brian Wilson. Ryan Dunleavy will be third. Fourth will go to Jerry Johns Jr. And fifth will be the 48 of Johnny Leach Sr. Once again, your winner, car number 78, Virgil Powell. First feature of the night, figure eights. Jeremy Everding, Gary Seitz on the front row. Inside row number 2 is the 4 of Jason Shaver. Outside of him will be the 31 of Robert Cox. Then it's Tim Dilge in the 53, 24 Sean Miller, and 29 Bob Huffman. As the as the cars take the white flag. One more lap to go. The 28 of Danny Sufford just now moving out on the track. You see him there. He'll do the quick spin around and join the field at the tail of the field. Danny Sufford, car number 28. Kind of a ragtag start, but we got a green flag and we are racing for the figure eights. Your leader is the 98 of Gary Seitz, running second. 1, Jeremy Everding. Third belongs to the 4 of Jason Shaver. Shaver gets around Everding, but he is spinning through the crossroads, or sliding. Never fully spin, gathered it back in, but Jeremy Everding got back around. He now runs second once again. Jason Shaver back to third. Your leader is the 98 of Gary Seitz. Miller calls it a day, as Gary Seitz about to put a lap on the 28 of Danny Suffren. Ooh, a little close at the crossroads. Everybody makes it through okay. Gary Seitz now putting a lap onto the Danny Suffren machine. Seitz still your leader. Second belongs to the 4 once again of Jason Shaver. Third is the 1 of Jeremy Everding. Number 98, Gary Seitz, your leader. Battle for that second position between Jason Shaver and Jeremy Everding, as they've been battling most of this race. Now Everding slips wide through the north loop. Jason Shaver takes that second spot back over once again. Your leader is still the 98 of Gary Seitz. Bob Cox and Danny Suffren got a little bit of a battle going on. Bob Cox in the 31 car, the normal Tim Jenkins ride. He slows down a little bit and let Gary Seitz go through the crossroads, so we don't have a T-boner. Jason Shaver running second. He is catching up to the 98 of Gary Seitz. White flag, 1 lap to go for your leader, car number 98, Gary Seitz. will be car number 98, Gary Sides. Coming home second will be the 4 of Jason Shaver. Jeremy Everding will come home third. Bob Cox sits in fourth, and rounding out your top 5 will be Tim Dilge in the 53 car. And the modifieds roll out onto the track for their 25-lap feature. I just heard from Dick Roberts. Row number 1 inside is the 88 of Dan Williams. Outside of him, the 0 of Jim Johnson. Row number 2, car number 17, Ed Lawrence. And the 31 of Don Fleming Jr. Row number 3 is car number 32, Steve Foster. And the 42 of Jim Lewis Jr. In row number 4, inside, Dick Dunleavy Jr. in the 11 car. Outside of him, the 3 of Jerry Stapleton. In row number 5, car number 28, Ralph Harrod, and the 82 of Terry Flora outside of him. And in row number 6, car number 25, Gary Smith, and the 72 of Mike Boreski. False start. We'll re-rack them and try that one again. False start. And that one looks like the clean one. Dan Williams leads him down the backstretch. Dan Williams, your leader. Ed Lawrence running second in 17 machine. We got a battle for third between Steve Foster and Jim Johnson. Still your leader, Ed Lawrence, Steve Foster, your top 3 cars. A little bit of space back to the 0 machine of Jim Johnson. He runs 4th. 5th belongs to Don Fleming Jr. And then the battle for 6th between Dick Dunleavy Jr. and Jerry Stapleton in the 3 machine. Now we got a battle for 2nd with Steve Foster moving to the high side of Ed Lawrence. Your leader is still the Dan Williams machine, car number 88. Now, Steve Foster, slight advantage, and takes over the 2nd spot down the back stretch. Dan Williams, your leader, the lap car, 72 of Mike Boreski. On the high side, everybody's going to make it by. And they squeak through inside and outside as we got some slow traffic around. It's still Dan Williams, your leader. Now Dunleavy working on the Stapleton machine. Steve Foster right on the back bumper of the 88 of Dan Williams. We got a battle for the lead as Foster has tracked down the 88 machine and is now looking for a way around. We got him spinning over in turn one. That'll bring out a caution. We had one go to the pits. Ed Lawrence spun down in turn one in the 17 machine. On the restart, Dan Williams, Steve Foster, Dick Dunleavy Jr., Jerry Stapleton, and the green flag comes back out. Still your leader. Steve Foster right there in second. Now Dunleavy takes a look to the high side of Foster. Going through turns 3 and 4. Dunleavy right in that high lane. Battle for second between Foster and Dunleavy. Dunleavy looking to the inside through turns 1 and 2 and makes it underneath. A little bit of a muscle move, and Dick Dunleavy Jr. runs second. Dan Williams still your leader. Let's see if Dunleavy has anything left for the 88 machine. Tries to get underneath going into turn 4. Williams slams the door. And they continue to battle for the lead. Dan Williams, Dick Dunleavy Jr., and Steve Foster. 3-car battle, nose to tail on the field. A little bit of space for the Steve Foster machine back to the 4th place car of Jerry Stapleton. Back there for that 4th position is Stapleton, Terry Flora, and Ralph Herod battle for 4th as Dunleavy, Williams, and Foster battling for the lead with Dan Williams leading it. With 1 lap to go, white flag for your leader, car number 88, Dan Williams. Dunleavy looks to the outside, little sideways going through turn 2, down the back stretch. Foster is right there. Williams sideways coming out of turn 4. Your winner will be Dan Williams. Steve Foster will come home second. Oh, a problem with the Ralph Herod machine. He hits the wall. 3rd will go to Dick Dunleavy Jr. 4th, Jerry Stapleton. And coming home with the 5th position is car number 82, Terry Flora. Once again, your winner, car number 88, Dan Williams. And now the Pure Stocks roll out for their feature event, and they're going to line up this way. Inside row number 1, car number 77, that's Larry Gard. Outside him, the 29 of Bob Huffman. Row number 2 is car number 6, Craig Conover, and outside him, the number 1 of Jeremy Everdeen. Row number 3, car number 28, Danny Suffern, and the 93 of Wayne Seals. In row number 4, car number 24, that's Sean Miller, and the 74 of Clark Wolf. Row number 5, car number 53, Tim Dilge, and the 3 of Brian Roush. And in row number 6, car number 98, Gary Seitz, and the 78 of Ken Burnett. In row number 7, car number 79, Chuck Sutton. and the 25 of Justin Miller. Turn number 4, leader lap number 1, car number 77, Larry Gard. Battle for second between Craig Conover and Bob Huffman. Danny Suffren right there in the 4th position. In the 28 machine, Sean Miller rounds out your top 5 for the moment. Now Bob Huffman slips back just a little bit more. Craig Conover takes over that 2nd position. Larry Gard still your leader. Justin Miller slow down the backstretch. He is waving and motioning to the cars behind him that he is going to be leaving the track. He's high and out of the way. Larry Gard, still your leader. Battle for second. Danny Suffren, Craig Conover, Sean Miller. Suffren now takes over that 2nd position. In the 28 machine, car number 28, Danny Suffren, former track champion in the pure stocks a few years back. Danny Suffren running 2nd. Larry Gard, your leader. Conover now moves back around on Danny Suffren. Conover takes over that 2nd spot. Suffren back to 3rd. As Bob Huffman and Wayne Seals battle side by side, leaving Jeremy Everding with no place to go. A little bit farther back in the pack. As Larry Gard, still your leader, Craig Conover, Sean Miller, Danny Suffren, Wayne Seals, Bob Huffman, Jeremy Everding, King Clark Wolf battling side by side now. Your top 6 cars kind of stringing out just a little bit. Now, Sean Miller looks to the inside and now the outside of Craig Conover. Battle for second between the 6 and 24 cars. Larry Gard, Craig Conover, Sean Miller. Craig Conover, Sean Miller. We got one spinning down the front stretch. That's the 53 of Tim Dilge. He spins it to the infield. And comes back out on the track, but caution is already out. And the 74 of Clark Wolf with a major problem. A lot of smoke coming out of that car. He's out of the car. He's okay. Sitting over there in turn 3 right in front of Bill Yo's spot. break for the 74 machine, Mark Wolf. On the restart, it will be Larry Gard, Craig Conover, Sean Miller, Danny Suffren, Bob Hutman, Wayne Seals. Still your leader. Craig Conover and Sean Miller battling for second. Looks to the inside of Craig Conover going out of turn 4. They touch. Conover maintains the second spot. Sean Miller still running third. Larry Gard, your leader. White flag, 1 lap to go for car number 77, Larry Gard. And your winner, car number 77, Larry Gard. And we see the Larry Gard cheerleaders right down in front of me. Finishing second is the 6 of Craig Conover. Third will go to Sean Miller. Fourth to Dan Suff. Fifth to Bob Huffman. Once again, your winner, car number 77, Larry Gard. NASCAR Western Racing Series late models coming out on the track for their feature event, and they're going to line up this way. Inside row number 1 is the 43 of Will Spurgeon. Outside him, the car number 77, Brian Brandenberry. Inside row number 2, car number 1, Mike Carroll, and 53 of Russ Bobb. Row number 3, car number 7, John Farrell, and the number 33 of Carl Stapleton. In row number 4, car number 17, Sam Heckman is outside of him, the 01 of Gene Crace. Row number 5, car number 72, Jerry Stapleton, and the 29 of Tony Brunke outside of him. And in row number 6, car number 75, Gary Estes, and the 34 of Dave Ellis. In row number 7, car number 28, Mark Stump, and the 16 of Rob Jacks. Lap number 1, car number 43, Will Spurgeon, your leader. Mike Carroll looking to the high side. And we have a new leader, car number 1, Mike Carroll. Will Spurgeon back to second. John Farrell runs third. Sam Heckman holding on to that 4th position. Your leader, Will Spurgeon, still holding on to second. Sam Heckman right on his back bumper, looking to the inside through turns 1 and 2. Can't quite get the job done. also looks wide coming out of turn 4. Heckman on the inside. He'll get by. Sam Heckman now runs second. Mike Carroll still running away with it. He's your leader. Jerry Stapleton third now. And Gary Estes in the 75 machine. He runs fourth. And now Estes looking to the inside of Stapleton. That battle for third position. And now Stapleton with a spin. Contact with the 75 machine. Stapleton spinning on his own on the high side, and then further contact with the 75 machine. He goes around, and now more contact. Mark Stump hits the 72 of Jerry Stapleton. Mark Stump with nowhere to go. Kind of hid behind, I think, the 16 of Rob Jacks, I believe it was. And when he came around Rob Jacks, Jerry Stapleton was right there. And Mark Stump having nowhere to go. And you see the steam coming out of the car, and the trail leading from the car is Busted Radiator on the 28 machine.
And Mark Stump, number 28, off the middle of the stretch with Stump going on.
It will be Mike Carroll, Sam Heck, Gary Estes, Tony Brunke, and Carl Stapleton. And of course that's Jerry Stapleton, 72, running third. Gary Estes back out. Russ Bob with a spin over in turn 1. That'll bring out another caution. I was about ready to say we see Gary Estes back out on the track. He had to go to the pits for a flat left front tire. Russ Bob with the latest spin, bringing out the caution. Comes back out. We got a piece of debris over in turn 1. And we got a car slowed down the backstretch. The 43 Will Spurgeon with a problem. On the restart, Mike Carroll, Sam Heckman, Jerry Stapleton, Tony Brunke, Carl Stapleton, and Gene Grace. Sam Heckman running second, third belongs to Jerry Stapleton. Oh, and Carl Stapleton and Tony Brunke touch, and Stapleton goes around in turn 4. And that will bring out another caution. And Carl Stapleton will have to start at the back of the pack. Jerry Stapleton, and caution comes back out. I was about ready to say Jerry Stapleton with a problem on that vehicle, and he's going to have to make a trip to the pit area. As the white flag comes back out, we'll stay with it. As Jerry Stapleton having to go to the pits in the 72 car. So the Stapleton boys having their problems here tonight. Still your leader. Battle for third between Gene Grace and Tony Brunke. Sam Heckman runs in second in the 17 machine. Grace looking to the inside. Tony Brunke. He slams the door in turn 3, and Grace maintains that fourth position. Brunke in third. And contact once again between the Tony Brunke and Gene Grace machine. Brunke almost loses it coming out of turn 2. Both cars slow way down. And now they're side by side down the front stretch. Grace with the slight advantage going into turns 1 and 2. Mike Carroll, your leader. And now Gene Grace getting around Tony Brunke. Grace runs third. Gets the cross flags halfway through this 35-lap feature for the late model. And another problem over in turn 1 this time. And over in turn 2, it looks like Will Spurgeon and Carl Stapleton getting together. Restart, it will be Mike Carroll, Sam Heckman, Gene Grace, Tony Brunke, and John Farrell. And Grace closing on the 17 of Sam Heckman. Battle for second. Mike Carroll still your leader in the 1 machine. And now Gene Grace looking to the high side of Sam Heckman down the back stretch. Grace lifts back just a little bit. And Tony Brunke peeks in there, he's running fourth, but now the battle between Grace and Brunke for third. And Gene Grace lifts back to fourth. Mike Carroll, your leader. Sam Heckman running second, Tony Brunke, and Gene Grace and John Farrell, your top 5 cars. Over in turn 1, I believe that's the 43 of Will Spurgeon. On the restart, it will be Mike Farrell, Sam Heckman, Tony Brunke, Gene Grace, and John Farrell, excuse me. as he has been from just about the outset of this race. And I've seen Bill Spurgeon on lap number 2. And since then, having this race all his own way, the battles have been from second on back as Sam Heckman, Tony Brunke, and Gene Grace right now run nose to tail on the track. A bit of space back to John Farrell, and there is Jerry Stapleton in the 72 machine. Stapleton with a problem. He pulls off the track over in turn 1 in the 33 machine. White flag, 1 lap to go for car number 1, Mike Carroll. And your winner will be car number 1, Mike Carroll. Sam Heckman will come home second, then Tony Brunke in third. Gene Grace comes home fourth, and John Farrell in car number 7 rounds out your top 5. Once again, your winner, car number 1, Mike Carroll.
Up here for the McDonald's team. I would like to thank everybody that's stuck with us.
And now for the NASCAR Winston Racing Series Pro Stocks coming up on the track. They're going to line up this way. Inside row number 1 is the 20 of Ellis Lawrence Jr. Outside of him, the number 1 of Jerry Johns Sr. Inside row number 2, car number 32, Jerry Johns Jr. And outside of him, the 11 of Ryan Dunleavy. Inside row number 3 is car number 52, Mike Miller. And outside of him, the 98 of Chris Stump. Row number 4 inside finds the 78 of Virgil Powell. Outside of him, the 48 of Johnny Leach Sr. Row number 5 is car number 81, Brian Wilson. And outside of him, the 12 of John Maloney. Row number 6 is car number 47, Johnny Leach Jr. And outside of him, the 22 of David Jakowski. In row number 7, car number 53, Tom Dilge. And outside of him, the 74 of L.G. Jones. And in row number 8, car number 4, John Matthews. And outside of him, the 58 of Gary Norton. And we thought we were going to get a start, but the caution comes back out. Getting the final lineup just right. In a moment, we'll get a green flag. together back to back, and we got a couple spinning over in turn 4. Looks like the Brian Wilson machine involved. I think that's Jeff Wilson or maybe David Chakowski that spun over there in down the front straightaway. Saw the 48 of Johnny Leach Sr. also involved. Complete restart, no laps complete. Spinning once again. Looks like Johnny Leach Jr. involved. 74 of LG Jones is involved. Maybe the 12 of John Maloney on the other side. There's the 74 of LG Jones. Looks like the 58 of Gary Norton also involved in that incident. Caution once again. I believe no laps completed once again. So we've got several cars that look like they might be out of this race, and we haven't got a lap in yet. Well, let's keep our fingers crossed. Third time's a charm. Fiddle getting whittled down pretty good here, as we have lost several cars and still haven't got a lap in. LG Jones in the 74 machine coming back out on the track. I believe he'll be about a lap down, at least. As we got him battling up front. The 20 of Ellis Lawrence Jr., he has the lead, but Jerry Johns Jr. right in the high line. He wants it. And here comes Virgil Powell in the 78, as is the Jerry Johns Sr. machine. 4-car battle for the lead. Brian Dunleavy sitting in fifth. Powell slips back a little bit. Ellis Lawrence has slipped away back. Your leader is now Jerry Johns Jr. Virgil Powell sideways coming out of turn 4. We got him spinning again out of 4. Don Matthews and the 81 of Brian Wilson. Caution. Restart, it will be Jerry Johns Jr., Virgil Powell, Jerry Johns Sr., Ellis Lawrence Jr., and Ryan Dunleavy. Virgil Powell goes back to work on the Jerry Johns Jr. machine. Battle for the lead between the 32 and 78 machines. Over there in turn 1. He gathers it back in, but he loses a few car lengths to the 32 of Jerry Johns Jr. He's still your leader. As Ryan Dunleavy. Oh, and Sean Matthews with a spin in the 4 machine. 22, David Jankowski has a spin up there in turn 2. All right, on the restart, Jerry Johns Jr., Virgil Powell, Jerry Johns Sr., Ellis Lorenz Jr., and Justin Miller, or excuse me, Mike Miller in the 52 machine. Is the 32, Jerry Johns Jr., Virgil Powell running second. And we got one spinning over in turn 2 once again. That's the Mike Miller machine in car number 52.
Mike Miller stops on the low side of turn number 2. Jerry Johns Jr. Forward the points coming in. So far.
On the restart, it will be Jerry Johns Jr., Virgil Powell, Jerry Johns Sr., and they pick up the throttle. And Virgil Powell wasted no time, looks to the inside of Jerry Johns Jr., going through turns 1 and 2. They're side by side down the back stretch. And new leader, Virgil Powell, through turn 4. Car number 78, Virgil Powell, now your leader. And Virgil Powell now got about 10 car lengths on that second place car of Jerry Johns Jr. Once he got around, car is hooked up and he is flying. Powell, still your leader, comes up on the slower 53 car of Tom Gilge. Gilge slips to the inside, right in front of the leader. Virgil Powell makes it around. Jerry Johns Jr., your second place car. Dunleavy and John Matthews got quite a battle going on. And contact made, and Matthews goes around in turn 3, and an extra little slap by the 20 of Ellis Lorenz. On the restart, it will be Virgil Powell, Jerry Johns Jr., Jerry Johns Sr., Chris Stump, Mike Miller. Virgil Powell, still your leader. Jerry Johns Jr. running second. Jerry Johns Sr. third. Jr. second, Jerry John Sr. third, Chris Stump holding on to that fourth position. White flag, 1 lap to go for your leader, car number 78, Virgil Powell. Makes it underneath the slower Tom Dilge machine. And your winner will be car number 78, Virgil Powell. Jerry John Jr. comes home second. Third will go to Jerry John Sr. Fourth to Chris Stump. And rounding out your top 5, car number 52, Mike Miller. Once again, your winner, car number 78, Virgil Powell. And our final feature of the night, rolling out on the track, the mini stocks. They'll line up this way. Inside row number 1 is the number 17 of Frank Harvey. Outside of him, the number 10 of Brian Brewer. Inside row number 2, car number 24, that's Rick Bates. Outside of him, the 19 of Jeff Wickman. Row number 3 is pickup truck number 60, Jerry Moore. And outside of him, the other pickup truck, number 33, Greg Stapleton. And in row number 4, the third of the 30 pickup trucks that run out here each and every week, truck number 6, Ron Wells. And then outside of him, first time appearance here in 1997, the 87 of Tim Stratman. Flagman Frank Brock gives them the signal that they're going to be going green this time. Your leader. Second belongs to the 24, Rick Bates. Third is the Jerry Moore machine, and fourth is the 6 of Ron Wells. Now Wells looks to the inside of Jerry Moore down the back stretch. Complete smooth coming down the front stretch, and he has third. Ron Wells is now third. The leader still Frank Harvey in the 17. Now moving underneath the 24 of Rick Bates, trying to make a pass down the back stretch. Side-by-side battle, this battle for second. Frank Harvey still your leader. Now second, Ron Wells. Back to third is the 24 of Rick Bates. run him down. He runs second. Third belongs to Rick Bates in the 24 machine. Now coming up on some lap traffic. The 87 of Tim Stratton, he moves to the high side. And Brian Brewer will be the next to go a lap down. And Frank Harvey having this one all his own way, but Ron Wells using the lap traffic has caught right up on the back bumper of Frank Harvey. Wells now challenging for the lead. And we got one on fire, the 24, Rick Bates, erupts into flames up over in turn 4. That'll bring out a red flag. Red flag on the track. On the restart, Frank Harvey, Ronalds, Greg Stapleton, Jerry Moore, Jim. And we'll see if Ron Wells has anything for Frank Harvey in these few remaining laps of this mini stock feature. One lap to go for your leader, Frank Harvey. And your winner will be car number 17, Frank Harvey. Ron Wells finishes finishes second in number 6 pickup truck. Then it comes Jerry Moore in third, Jeff Flickman fourth, and finishing fifth will be the 10 of Brian Brewer. So, once again, your winner, car number 17, Frank Harvey. For my wife, Kim, my partner, Bill Yo, I'm Nate Pennington. We'd like to thank you for buying this Penso Productions at the track videotape. And we'll see you back here next week at the track.